And welcome back to the channel, family. Honest here and my lady Tekla. Say hi to the family.
Hi, family.
So today we're reacting on why 95% of American houses are made from wood and not blocks and not bricks. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We did a video on how American homes are constructed. So now we want to find out why.
Okay. Please, family, do consider watching at least half of the video.
Yeah,
Can't
please.
wait.
I want you guys to understand why. When you watch at least half of the video, it makes YouTube recommend our videos more.
Yeah,
More
and
people
more.
watch, and we make quite a bit of money so we can buy better equipment and shoot
For
better
the
videos.
videos.
Thank
Yeah.
you, family. Let's
Let's
go.
Hit the like.
In America, 19 out of 20 homes built are built using good old 2x4s and drywall, otherwise known as stick framing. But the fact is, stick frame homes are going to last about 70 years before they need major repair or even replacement. Now you compare that to our counterparts over in Europe with their masonry built homes with concrete and blocks. They're going to last about 120 years before they need that same major repair or potentially replacement. So the question is, why on earth are we building houses like this when it's clearly an inferior construction method? Well, there's actually 3 reasons why this type of stick framing makes a lot of sense here in America. First
off, family, before he says anything, the video we did, we were wondering why they're building houses with wood.
Yeah.
So you guys should really understand why this video is super important for us. Because we build houses with blocks. I don't know what you mean by mercenaries. I don't know. But we build houses here with blocks, and we're so much wondering why Americans are building with wood, 2x4s. And a bunch of people in the comment section told us why.
Reasons why.
Yeah, and that was so educative.
Very, very educative.
Let's get it first hand from this man. He looks like an expert, right? Yeah, let's get it from him.
affordability. To understand why the affordability of stick framing is so important to us here in America, we're going to have to take a look at 4 factors that play a part in making the American home building experience so unique. The first factor to take a look at here is the average home size of homes in America versus outside of America. Now, if you consider population distribution, the average home size outside the United States is 900 square feet, or about 84 square meters. Now, in the United States, that number 2,450 square feet.
What? America is always bigger. They're always doing everything bigger. 2,450 square feet against 900 square feet.
More than 10 too.
Damn!
Or 228 square meters. That is crazy. This is a 270% larger home in the US than outside the US. So keep that one in your back pocket for just a sec. The second factor is habitable land. That just means land that you can actually develop and live on and be fairly comfortable. In the rest of the world, if again, population distribution included, that's 0.5 acres is the average. Here in the United States, 2.75 acres. It is 550% larger per capita than the rest of the world. We have a lot more land to work with. Now that doesn't mean that every individual in the United States owns 3 acres of land. It just means we have a lot of land to work with for these homes. The third factor of affordability of stick-framed homes is the average household size. Outside the US, we're looking at 3.6 people in each home. Inside the US, 2.5. That means there are less people to actually bring in money to pay for the house itself. And the fourth factor of affordability is the average age of first-time home buyers. In the rest of the world, it averages out to 31. Here in the United States, it's pretty close to that. It's 33 years old. So that begs the question. How the heck is a 33-year-old American expected to pay for a house that is 270% larger, sitting on 550% more land, and do that and pay for that with 30% less people in the house? Well, you can see why an affordable house is essential here in America. And let's
Yeah, family, I can say that this man is explaining so explicitly.
Yeah, very, very explicit.
That is so understandable. It's so much smoothing all the curves out.
So summarized.
Thank you, family. This guy is so good. We are linking the original video in the description, so you can go check it out too. Bro!
You can see why an affordable house is essential here in America. And let's take a look at what makes stick framing actually affordable. It breaks down like this. Thanks to the lower cost of the material like this, as well as the affordability and the mass amounts of laborers that are able to work with not only 2x4s but also drywall, that means that the average US home, again around 2,450 square feet, is going to cost an American $397,000 to build. That same house built out of masonry is going to cost $544,000. It's about 37% more. And the fact is, if you give us the choice, most of us 37% less? No, we're going to take the extra space that comes with stick framing. There is a new alternative though that we need to talk about, and that is 3D printed concrete houses. These can often be created for around the same price as stick frame exterior walls, and sometimes they're actually even cheaper. They're fast and they come with many of the benefits of concrete walls.
But 3D printing houses. I don't understand what's happening. The 3D printing the house, like they just program the house on the computer and the machine prints the house. Take my credit card. Take it. Take my card.
Jesus.
You just go to sleep and wake up to your house. Dang it. Yeah, that's what the type of things I want. Engineers are inherently lazy. That's why they do all this kind of thing. And I'm loving it.
They are coherently lazy.
There are a few things to be aware of. Number one, reinforcing 3D printed concrete walls is possible, but it's not easy or common, at least not yet. Two, the technology to 3D print walls is very much in its infancy, and it's expected to get better over time. But for now, making multi-story homes, for example, especially ones with a very large footprint, is a challenge. And three, while the process can be fast and efficient, there are major limitations in terms of flexibility, systems integration, and more. That being said, the options that are opened up to us by using 3D printing are kind of unreal, and I'm pretty excited to see where this is going to take us in the future. Now, myself, I'm super dorky and nerdy. I actually had a whole 3D printing channel because I've owned dozens of 3D printers, and I've actually been playing around a lot lately with this new type of filament called PEBA, or PEBA. PEBA allows me to 3D print airless tennis balls, airless basketballs, and other bouncy or flexible items that just haven't been possible in the past. In fact, the sponsor of today's video, Symbatron, sent me some of their mind-blowing PEBA filament, and it was so bouncy and easy to print with using my existing 3D printers that I found myself wanting to try all kinds of prints with it, including custom rings like these. This material opens up all kinds of new doors for 3D printing that I've never even been able to consider until now. Imagine printing soft and comfortable shoes, airless basketballs, prosthetics, wearables, and more, all right from your own 3D printer right at home. TPU and other flexible materials like that, they really can't keep up with what Symbatron's PEBA can do. For more information, check out the link in the description below or head to symbatron.com. We'll see where 3D printing takes us in the future, but stick framing, with its low price and easy availability, this is here to stay. Being affordable to work with, however, is really just the first reason of why stick framing is so popular here in the US. The second reason is speed. Dimensional lumber in the US has been popular literally for centuries, and a big part of that is because of how fast homes are able to be built using these 2x4s. The US has grown super fast since its inception, so over the last few centuries we've had to find ways to build homes quickly. Take a look at how high the population growth percentages have been in the US, in orange, versus the rest of the world in blue. As a country, we grew insanely fast for hundreds of years, only slowing down, kind of, in the early to mid 20th century. With all that growth comes massive demand for new homes. We've got plenty of land to work with, we just don't have enough homes to build, and the bottleneck is oftentimes the speed, and that's why having a fast way to build is super crucial for us. Speaking of demand, estimates say that we're actually about 3 to 7 million homes shy of what the demand requires right now in the United States. Now there's a bunch of reasons for this. First, we've actually been underbuilding in the United States since the housing crash of 2008. Second, we've experienced labor and material shortages. And the third reason is because of zoning. A lot of places require that you have single-family homes. And the fourth and final reason is because of rising land prices throughout the United States. If we as a nation adopted masonry, we would actually have more of an issue with the availability of homes because they just take longer. So stick framing actually helps us to resolve that discrepancy that we have between the availability of homes and the need for homes throughout the US. On the topic of building and framing, we're offering a DIY basement course to save you tens of thousands of dollars by doing your basement all on your own. If you're interested, there's links in the description below. Thanks. To help put this in perspective, let's take a look at that average US home we talked about before, 2,450 square feet. How long would it take to build that the United States way with stick framing like this and drywall and everything versus, let's say, the way a German house is built? Now don't get me wrong, German houses are honestly fantastic. They're well engineered, they're sturdy, they're great. They just take a lot longer to build. So the question is, how long? If you were to actually build these side by side in the United States with our labor and the way our systems work at least, the stick frame house is going to take about 6 to 7 months. This is average, pretty normal amount of time for a house like that here in the US. If you do the German way, we're looking at somewhere between 10 and 15 months. That's like double. And so if you see the amount of demand that we have for new houses here in the US, and you say, oh, we're going to slow the housing process, the building process down, and we're going to double that time, we just can't go for that. Let me give you an example that's real world. This is from my life just a couple of years ago. We actually paid a home building company to build us a rental house that was 3,400 square feet, so quite a bit bigger than the average US home. They actually let us customize just about everything in it. All of the colors, the textiles, the cabinetry, you name it. They even let us make some bigger decisions around where the entry was and different things like that. And all of this after we picked our model out or our layout from multiple plans that they had available. They actually built that whole thing from start to finish in 4 months. 4 months, that's just kind of nuts. So definitely faster than average, especially given the size. But these home building companies with stick framing, they know how to do it fast and they know how to do a good job. That house has been rented out that whole time and it's doing a...
This guy is just like a perfect teacher. He's like just explaining the whole thing. No effort,
No stress.
no stressing. It's just like take point after
Yeah,
point.
this is what you need. Have this, then wait. Okay. Go again. Stop. Look at this.
great job because it was built quickly and the technology is there to do it well. Now, I may or may not have been at the construction site just about every day, or every night I should clarify. I was just checking out how fast they were going. It was fascinating to see how quickly this house could go from a dirt field to a hole in the ground to a full-framed house in just a few months. Our country has been figuring out how to make homes faster and faster for centuries. They're making them better, they're making them stronger, and even though we figured out how to keep it affordable and how to do it fast, all of that is totally dependent on one last thing, and that is our third reason, America's natural resources. It's no surprise that the earliest homes in America were built really the same way that the original inhabitants built them back in their native countries. So people who came from, for example, Holland or England or Germany, they built them the same way they already knew how to. And that was using a lot of post and beam construction and then mortise and tenon joinery. This was pretty common through all homes here. Now you add to that the fact that these old growth woods like chestnut and pine and oak, they were everywhere here in America. You can find pretty much anything you need. It was super inexpensive. What wasn't so abundant though was the skilled labor to work these massive timbers. Not to mention the fact that nails back in those days were made by hand, one at a time, by blacksmiths. So they were not cheap. Fast forward to the 1700s and we saw the advent of the water-powered sawmill, and that honestly changed everything. That meant instead of working with these huge massive timbers that were super difficult and cumbersome, the sawmills could create dimensional lumber. These were the early addition of 2x4s, 2x6s, things like that. And that changed a few things. Number one, it meant that people who wanted to build houses didn't need to pay a skilled craftsman to work with it. They could actually train up people, and more laborers got into the field.
Yeah, so if you're still watching, family,
Up till and including this point, we say thank you. I mean, you really can't imagine or say how much that meant to us and to the channel.
thank you.
Just a big thank you.
Let's keep watching, family. Let's go.
Build houses didn't need to pay a skilled craftsman to work with it. They could actually train up people, and more laborers got into the field. Now add to that the fact that nails started to become mass produced, and nails and 2x4s together, match made in heaven. That made home building so much faster, so much easier, and it definitely standardized things as well. By the 1800s, a new standard had come along, and that's called balloon framing. If you're not familiar with that, just think of blowing up a balloon where it's all empty inside. It's the same concept. They took really long 2x4s, we're talking 20, 40 feet long 2x4s, and then they would create this outside shell of the home basically, and then when they wanted to add floors, they would just add them one at a time and attach them to the frame on the outside. Now balloon framing was awesome and it moved things forward, but it had one major drawback, and that is fire. Because they actually built the floors after the fact, there were gaps in between the floors and the exterior walls, which meant fire could travel from the basement to the first floor to the second floor to the roof, and the whole house would burn down. If it caught fire, it's a goner. So not a great thing. Moving into the early 1900s, we saw the adoption of what's called platform framing. And this is actually the same way we build houses today. The difference between platform framing and balloon framing is that with platform framing, you actually build each floor one at a time, stacked on top of one another. This creates an easy and natural separation between each floor. Over the last 100 or so years, building code has been developed and enforced to make these dimensional lumber homes safer, stronger, and more efficient. Today, every home built in America is built on a concrete foundation or a cement slab, so we do use concrete, it's just in the foundation. And there are strict codes to ensure proper framing, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC guidelines are followed. Another factor that's often overlooked here is the rigidity and strength that comes from adding sheathing over dimensional lumber. A framed house with no sheathing can fall relatively easily, but once you add sheets of plywood and OSB and drywall to it, every fastener adds strength to the overall structure, making homes much sturdier than the framing on its own. I have to add that throughout this entire process, America has had the advantage of having not only an abundant lumber supply, but also an efficient transportation system so that we can get 2x4s and sheet goods and trusses and everything that we need anywhere they're needed in the country. Over the course of several centuries, America has built this amazing infrastructure that really revolves around these stick frame homes. And with that, they've made the homes better and better every year, and they've learned how to do it quicker and quicker as well. Now, I'm not here to tell you that dimensional lumber is in any way stronger or more durable than concrete and masonry homes that we see in other locations. That's generally speaking not the case, but don't get me wrong, these houses can last hundreds and hundreds of years. In fact, the house that I grew up in the East Coast, was built in the 1800s, and our family of 8 lived there for quite a while, and there's a family living there today. It's doing just fine. Not only is it doing fine, but it withstood a lot while we lived there. 5 siblings, we had a lot of fights. We actually had a game that we called Ding Ding, where we take sleeping bags and put them over our heads, and so just our feet were free at the bottom. We'd split up into teams. We'd go into the second floor hallway, where it was a long, skinny hallway with wooden stairs on either end, and we would beat the heck out of each other until the winners were the last 2 or 3 standing up at the top. So we had a lot of fun with that one, and that house stood fine. But I digress. So there were a lot of houses actually in the areas near where I grew up that were built in the 1600s. All stick framing, dimensional lumber, same kind of thing, a lot of lath and plaster over there, and they are holding up great even today, though I don't know if anybody's actually played Ding Ding in them. So between standardization, lower cost, and faster build times, not to mention our familiarity as a country with how to use these the most efficient way possible, I believe that stick framing is going to be around for decades and decades, if not centuries still to come. Now that said, that doesn't mean that we can't partner that technology with other technologies, even some that involve concrete and masonry. Insulated concrete forms, or ICF, is one that I've been keeping an eye on because I think I might actually want to build my next house using exterior walls out of ICF and interior walls and trusses with dimensional lumber. It only adds about 3 to 5% to the cost to use this ICF. It's reinforced, it's fairly easy to work with, and it partners beautifully with dimensional lumber like this. So, what do you think? Is stick framing here to stay, or are technologies like ICF and 3D printing and other things eventually going to take over completely? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are if you drop them in the comments below. On the topic of home sizes, you may have noticed that garages are getting smaller and smaller every year, to the point where when you open your car door, you're likely to hit the wall or another car. Why is that? To see the fascinating breakdown of why this is happening, check out this video right here. I'm Nils with Learn to DIY. Thanks for watching.
Thanks
for watching.
you, sir. Thank you for making the video. So, the lesson here is houses are built in America because there's affordability, right? The speed of building. Talk a bit louder.
There's affordability, speed of building, and the
Availability.
natural resources.
Natural resources.
Yeah.
You are so smart, girl.
Please don't say that. Don't say that.
So since there's there's larger land, right? They have more land, and there's larger square area for an average home.
Yeah.
And then with fewer people expected to live in a house, and then cheaper materials, transportability of the materials, availability.
And all.
We just understood, family.
I was actually thinking I was going to talk about the fact that due to the weather,
Yeah.
wood houses are also good. Like when we what we got in the comment section for the other video.
Yeah.
People were saying that if when you build them with wood,
Yeah.
the house is likely not to fall down during
Earthquake.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was thinking he was going to talk about that one.
Maybe he
but
left that one out.
Yeah.
There are always points that he might not put it
Yeah,
inside.
it's true.
But I think affordability, availability, and speed are the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at the fact that many people also, like, the population is also increasing as
Yeah.
time is going. Population is increasing.
Yeah.
So speed is very important.
Family, if you watch up to and including this point,
We just want to say thank you.
yeah,
We love you.
we love you, the United States.
We love you.
And we noticed that about less than 10% of our viewers are not subscribed. Please, if you have watched our videos, think about it and subscribe. Anyways, you don't have to subscribe if you don't have to, but consider subscribing to the channel. And
If you like the content,
yeah, thank you, family.
thank you.
We love you. Take care of
So
yourself.
dearly. So